The immortal John Hancock here, and today I'm excited with sharing some of my favorite Commodore Vic-20 games with you. If you're new to the channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button and click the bell so you are notified of new videos that I post every week. Commodore 64's little brother, the Commodore Vic-20, was an early 80s computer success story. It was the first computer to break the $300 mark, as well as the first computer to sell over 1 million units. But many people didn't grow up with it. Many people don't even know what the Commodore Vic-20 is. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing 10 games that were on the Commodore Vic-20 that you may want to revisit. So sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoy the video. Like many others, I actually grew up with the Commodore 64 not knowing what the Vic-20 was. In the early 90s, when I started retro collecting, I found out about this awesome classic computer, and I've been hooked collecting and playing games on it ever since. This is one of a few of Commodore Vic-20s that has been in my collection a long time. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing physical cartridges with you, as well as capturing footage on an original Commodore Vic-20. Avenger was the first cartridge release on the Vic-20, and what you'll notice, especially with first-party releases, is that there are several variations with the cartridges themselves. And so Avenger had two main label differences. There was a beige label and then a silver label. Avenger was a Space Invaders clone, and a decent one at that. You know, it definitely has kind of the look and feel of Space Invaders Deluxe, as you're shooting down various aliens coming from the sky, hiding behind bases, and even able to shoot the enemy shots themselves. This is a great strategy and a good port of the timeless arcade classic. Check it out. Magic is one of my favorite game companies from the 80s, and it's nice to see that there's a faithful port of Demon Attack on the Vic-20, and with its laughably bad artwork on the box art. It's so funny. The Vic-20 port of Demon Attack plays a lot like the 2600 version, and that's not a bad thing, as it has fast gameplay. This game does get very challenging as time progresses, as the patterns of the enemies vary from each stage. I really enjoy this one. If you're looking for a good space shooter, I think Demon Attack is one of the best on the Commodore Vic-20, and I highly recommend checking it out. You can't talk about early 80s classic computing without bringing up Jeff Minter games, and Gridrunner is one of his best. Gridrunner back in the day was published by Human Engineered Software. Their cartridges stand out because they have bright red and black labels. Gridrunner plays a little bit like the arcade game Centipede, but bumps it up to volume 10. It's frantic, fast, and you have to avoid literally everything on the screen, shooting down enemies coming from the top, as well as, you know, there's lasers and everything trying to take you out on the left and bottom of the screen. I totally appreciate this game. It's totally insane. Check it out. Jeff Minter's company Llamasoft is still around, as well as this game is still available on mobile devices, as well as even the PlayStation 4. K-Star Patrol, released by CBS Software, will definitely stand out in a crowd. Its cartridges have a unique color as well as bright labels. CBS Software sometimes gets overlooked because I actually think some of their games are fairly unique, and K-Star Patrol kind of takes the standard ship format and puts it on its side, and so you have a squadron fighters that you choose from as enemies approach from the right and try to take out your line of ships. And so I really appreciated this one, and often gets overlooked. While Mountain King was offered on several classic consoles and computers of the 80s, I really appreciate the Vic-20 version of its fast gameplay. Mountain King has you exploring a diamond mine, collecting diamonds, looking for the flame spirit using your flashlight, collecting the flame spirit, and then going to the temple once you have the flame spirit to collect the crown, and then escaping to the top of the mountain. This is a game that I didn't get into as a kid, and as I get older, I find myself more motivated to check out this amazing game, and it's often overlooked as an awesome platform. This is a fairly difficult game, and if you do decide to check it out, I recommend several games to get used to the gameplay style, and you're not going to be disappointed. Megarace was one of the very first games that I played on my used Commodore Vic-20, and like some other first-party releases, it has some cartridges that look different. The beige and the silver label are often the ones to look out for. This is a great arcade conversion and one of the best on the classic computer. In a Megarace, you have a ship that's racing around. It's kind of cool. You can adjust the screen color and the ship color and play with it as either a joystick or a paddle. It's funny, in the future year of 2003. I love going back to early 80s games, and I think that, you know, the 2000s was the future back then. So you fly around the screen, shooting various enemies for points, avoiding them, hitting anything causes you to die. This is a great early classic arcade game. Very cheap to find and very common. Some third-party Vic-20 cartridges are very difficult to find, and this is Scorpion, released by Tronix. It even came with a kind of a strange like dust cover for the end of the cartridge. Scorpion is a top-down maze game and an early example of a four-way scrolling shooter. You're taking out various creatures. You take out the green ones and then take them back to your home base or den. Gotta love the imagination needed to play early games. Sheamus for the Vic-20 is a great Berserk-style game, though I think it's actually better than Berserk in many different ways. In Sheamus, you are exploring 32 different rooms, taking out various enemies, and picking up items, including keys. This is a great game and often gets overlooked. This is definitely kind of a hidden gem for the Vic-20, and I found myself playing this over and over again. I definitely think that this has a lot to offer, and definitely one of the best games on the Vic-20 library. Flash! Wait, did they lose the license? Oh, this is Spider City, also known as Flash Gordon on various other releases. While it kind of takes a nod from Defender, I actually like playing Spider City better. And so many people will feel right at home because this looks just like Flash Gordon on the Atari 2600. And Spider City is a good game on the Vic-20. I have found myself enjoying it, going around, collecting people and avoiding various enemy obstacles. If you're not familiar with this game, it is a decent Defender style game that you may find yourself enjoying. I really liked it and definitely worth checking out. Sega made amazing arcade games in the 80s, and some of those games actually had decent ports to home consoles and computers. And Star Trek Strategic Operations Simulator is one of those games. What I like about Sega is they went all out, typically adding additional things. In the box copies, in the Vic-20 version of this game, there's a joystick overlay, which is included in several other versions. Completely unnecessary, but very cool. At the start of the game, you're introduced by hearing the Star Trek theme song. In the game, you are going to various sectors, taking out enemies, defending star bases, wiping out mines, and it's a lot of fun. I found myself playing this game over and over again, and this is a great Sega classic. There's a lot of people out there that probably haven't experienced early classic Sega games. Highly recommend this one. With hardware getting more difficult to find, it's nice to know that there's several ways to game and experience Commodore Vic-20 games. There's JavaScript emulators, there's various ways of playing this, as well as the new product, the C64, has a Vic-20 mode in which you can play Vic-20 games on it. Pretty awesome. There were countless games made on cartridge and tape format. What is your favorite? From today's video, tell me about your favorite game or share a backstory of your experience with the Commodore Vic-20. I had a lot of fun doing this video. I love collecting this great little classic computer, And thank you so much for the ongoing support. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and click the bell so you are notified of upcoming videos that I post every week. You folks are wonderful and beautiful. This is the Immortal John Hancock, and you take care.